Hello and welcome. Today we've got Lewis Herms, and today we are going to be discussing the illusion of power and the American psyop. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at nicholas.veniamin, where you can follow all my daily newsreels. Lewis, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
Oh, I'm about up to 6 feet right now. I've been up to a lot, man. We've been so busy. It's actually pretty wonderful. I recently got back from the border convoy in Mesa, Arizona. We're working hard. We have warriors working all over the world now that I'm in touch with virtually daily, and they're making a difference. So, and we have a lot of projects in the works. So it's been exciting times. It's been exciting times. We did a Super Bowl special on Super Bowl, and the viewerships were through the roof. We blew Rumble up, which is pretty hilarious, actually.
Just before we actually start about the topics that we were going to go into, what are your views on the Super Bowl? Did you see any comms there? I mean, what did you see? I know Usher's performance was really good. He
Yes,
copied Michael Jackson quite a lot.
he did. That's
And that
exactly
annoyed me a little bit because if you're going to copy Michael Jackson, you've got to be better than Michael Jackson. Similar to Michael Jackson copied a lot of James Brown, then developed his own style, but then for me, he's the best.
right.
But that's my opinion, and many people may agree with me, disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine. I think they're amazing artists. But what do you think about the Super Bowl? Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
first I think Usher was it was seemed like an homage to Michael Jackson is what he was doing. He even started with two gloves, ended up with one glove. It's pretty obvious from the beginning where he was going with that. Um, which is great. Now, what I did notice, and I wrote about this, which is interesting, the beginning of the halftime show, he even spoke of God in a positive light, and there was a lot of white and beautiful things. And then in the middle, it seemed they kind of went down that little satanic road that they go down. It looked like there was a piano that could have been the devil's tongue in red and the ring of fire and a witch on stage. But then they crushed that and brought it back to more neutral with the white and the blues and so on and so forth. So the messaging there was very interesting. Now, here's what was really going on. The NFL, I believe, knows that we are awake, and we are awake to this satanic ritual that they do and the Olympics do for the last 2 decades, right? So what we've heard before, during the Super Bowl is what? Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. All we heard is Taylor Swift, right? That's all we heard. Guess what? We counted from pregame, the game, and right after. They showed Taylor Swift 20 times. 20 times. It should have been called the Taylor Swift Bowl, right? And then there was a time that they showed her, they were actually doing a satanic ritual, which I've documented on my channel, in Taylor Swift's box. It was intentional. They were waiting for it to show on the big screen, and you can see as soon as it happened, they all went into action. So Taylor Swift took a big huge chug of a drink, right? She's looking past her four friends in the front. They're all wearing black. Everybody in the background is wearing color, totally set up. This one Ice Spice lady is throwing devil signs, and then she has an upside down cross, and then she chokes herself, right? While her brain dead friend next to her is doing all this weird signing and signaling at her. This was a satanic ritual flat out. So my thought process here, Nick, is what they've done is they knew they were going to take heat for the halftime show, so they've reverted to pushing it towards the Taylor Swift narrative. So we're all paying attention to that, and that's where their satanic spell casting was. And if people don't believe me, that's fine. But look at the Allegiant logo. Now, Allegiant is the one that sponsors the stadium. Their logo has a sun on it, right? Their word is not capitaled. It's all in lowercase letters because they're paying homage to the sun above it. The CBS, who had it, everybody knows that's the eye in CBS. If you look at Allegiant Stadium from the top, it's also an eye. So I believe this is gameplay, and of course it was in Sin City, Las Vegas. So um, I'm not sure. I was hoping to see a white hat event. When I watched the halftime show, it felt like that was going that direction. But then I looked at the subtext, and it looks like it was the Taylor Swift satanic show to me.
Interesting, very interesting. And what do you think about the red dress and the red everything going on with Alicia Keys when she was on the piano.
Yeah, I thought that was that's what I was saying. And then notice the piano she was playing looked like a devil's tongue too. So that
Because the red that they choose, it wasn't, a BBC red. It wasn't, the red. It's a very satanic, deep red,
yeah,
like
it's
a
the blood.
blood kind
It's
of
the blood
red.
red. That's exactly
Yeah,
right. It's the blood red. Yeah. So they had to get it in there, but it was dumbed down from the past because I believe they were doing the real spell casting in Taylor Swift's booths. It's just
interesting.
wacky. The fact that these people, we even have to walk amongst these creeps is just hilarious.
Absolutely, very interesting. Now, you want to share something about the illusion of power. You want to educate us on that, on something.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. And in the middle of this, I will want to share my screen if I can.
You can,
Um,
yeah.
so throughout history, the illusion of power, where we think the power is the kings, the queens, presidents, politicians, three-letter agencies, the NGOs, which are non-governmental organizations, our judges, and our police. Now, they've traditionally been held up on a pedestal of respect with no questions asked. But based on what? What do we know of the world? Well, we have fake and fraudulent elections. So most of the aforementioned people I've mentioned are not elected. They're selected anyways. So why on earth would we hold them in esteem? So why is it they garner instant respect in a position that they were selected to? So why do you call a judge honorable or your honor, even if there is evidence of corruption? I don't know. Why do we acquiesce to their calculated talking points and demand?
Hmm.
It's because we've all been brainwashed worldwide to do so, right? Now, when they repeat the same mantra enough times, it's a version of spell casting. That gets our subconscious to believe them. So when you hear several times a day the MSN or even society in general hold these buffoons in such high esteem, this is where we get to. So include into it, the schools train us to do this. So we look up to these people, if you can call them people, that are stealing from us and intentionally poisoning our foods and abusing our children. So the brainwashing is real. I'm going to give you an example of that. So there was when 9/11 hit, right? I was upstairs. There was a scream came down to down from downstairs says turn on the TV. Now we're on the West Coast, so it's 6 a.m. And I turn it off on and I'm watching. So you have the tower and when the tower fell, so on and so forth. I was yelling at the TV, that's controlled demolition. That's controlled demolition. Well, long story short, after watching the news for 3 days straight, because I did, I'm guilty. I watched all the mainstream news, CNN, Fox for 3 days straight. After that, instead of me saying the towers were demoed, I said, let's go get those terrorists. So I was MK Ultra in that 3 days. Now they do
Hmm.
this to us all the time, but you have to be honest with it. I was MK Ultra, so it hit me. I snapped out of it a year, 2 years later, whatever it was. So what happens is what we've lost as a whole, not as an individual, is the ability to use discernment or even use common sense. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying as a whole, right? Why aren't we saying what are their fruits? What exactly have they done for your community? Have they earned your respect? Now, aside from Donald J. Trump, I can't think of many that have earned any respect, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Even the sheriffs, we have 3,300 sheriffs in the United States, right? They have the power to step up and make a difference with this. They have the evidence. We've submitted the evidence, right? But why aren't they stepping up? Think about this. It's all part of the establishment. So now, some of this is remedial for people I understand. It's Patriot 101 stuff. But hopefully, this will give you just another tool on how to wake up the sleepers because that's what we need to be doing right now. They don't understand this, right? They don't get that we are the employers. These so called power positions, they're employees. We need to recognize that, right? So we're working with a massive warrior network right now worldwide, and we're helping to teach and build we the people strongholds. So I'm going to introduce you to one of our warriors on a video here in a second, but first I want to set it up if I can, right? So this takes place in Phoenix and it's very, very powerful, right? It's during public comments where previous to this, our warrior Leslie Shepard was speaking. they were talking about homelessness in 15-minute cities. So the speakers before her mentioned homelessness in 15-minute cities. And then she stepped up. She understands deeper than they do what was really going on. It's going to be fun to watch, right? So she's talking to the mayor. So let me add some context. The first Nicholas major 15-minute city, guess where it was proposed? It was proposed to be right outside of Phoenix. Guess who proposed it? Bill Gates. I saw the plans of it. So that was right in the outskirts of Phoenix. This was years ago. Interesting enough, the mayor of Phoenix, Mayor Kate Gallegos, who is divorced, she opted to keep her last name, Gallegos, to appear Hispanic because she knew it would garner her the Latino votes in the community, right? I guess she didn't think her white privilege was good enough. So now she was on the city council for 4 years, right? And she served as mayor. And then she served as mayor since 2019. So she's only been on there a few years, 5 years as mayor. But all of this was pre-planned. And should be proof that she was selected, not elected. Because this mayor is the same one that signed off on Phoenix banning meat, dairy, and private cars by 2030. Did you even know that? Were you aware of that?
They want to ban meat.
No, they've already signed off on it. So by 2030 in Phoenix, the ordinance is to ban meat, dairy, and private cars. It's crazy, right? Because they're going to try to flip the whole thing into a 15-minute city. Well, pockets of it. So this is preparation for the 15-minute cities. Now, what is the 15-minute city for anybody that knows? I'm just going to give you a synopsis and make it really simple. So they try to make it so you can bicycle within 15 minutes, possibly take a tram within sight of a city within 15 minutes to anywhere. Now, imagine though, you're locked in. So you think you're living in some type of utopia until your social credit score doesn't let you go to a play that night. You can't go to a movie. You can't get the organic food because your social credit score isn't recognized, but you're locked into the city. This is what it's all about. So 15-minute cities is a game, right? In fact, one of the people that spoke before Leslie actually called it 15-minute ghettos. That's what it is. So they're trying to implement it. So this Mayor Gallegos happens to be, listen to this, the only American on the council of the 15-minute cities worldwide. She's also a member of the World Economic Forum, so that should tell you a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So she was clearly selected. She was not elected. Now, Leslie Shepard, who I'm going to show now, understands her role as the employer as she addresses the employee, Mayor Gallegos. So I'll show this to you. It's only 2 minutes.
What have you?
I'm going to mention a couple things right now. The reason I'm mentioning it because it ties into what I just sat here listening to, all these people talking about this hardship. So we have an agenda item that's 180 million tax on top of a $6 billion budget with a surplus of 135 million left over. Slush fund, quite a good chunk of change you got there. You know what, Mary, you were not here last time because you were at the World Economic Forum, the United Nations meeting. You were there for a week. These people could live for a year on what it costs you for your hotel that I'm sure we paid for. Why do I have a problem with this? Because of this. We have people that literally have no home. They have, in many ways, no hope. But I tell you what, the problem I have with you, Mayor, is that people want to sit up here and thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for presenting this, and thank you, Mayor, for presenting that. You know, when I see people not coming in here in a homeless situation, then I'll thank you. But until then, every single meeting I've come down here, this is the only place they can come to talk. But for what? I don't know. Is it going to do is it going to make a difference? When I look at how much money you guys have in slush fund, you have like 38% increase in unemployment that has happened. Yet you're away for a week on our tax dollar with the United Nations, who's helping us support this little 15-minute city issue. And you sit there as the only American that is on that committee. And people don't realize what a big deal that is. All this money that comes through here, and it looks like it's going toward projects that are helping. The real projects that should be helping are the people that came in this room, that picked up the dignity they have and came and asked you for help. I'm telling you, the fact that you weren't here last week and you were part of that group for a full week, I know we paid your dime on that. And we got people in here literally, and I'm going to repeat it, that could live probably on the entire year of what it cost you maybe for one night of your luxury on our tax dollar as you sell out our country. You're part of this World Economic Forum. You're part of these United Nations, and this is against we the people. This does not help us. This is to line your pocket for your little special interest groups. And if some of you up there get a little irritated hearing this kind of stuff, well, you know what? It's irritating to God Almighty Yahweh. You're the leaders. You're the people, the shepherds that are going to be held accountable for the way these people have to come in here asking for basic help as your pockets are lined and you make money off of us and sell us out in our country. Shame on you, Mary.
If you like.
Very well said. Very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful example of the type of people we're working with worldwide. We're stepping up, and we the people can make a difference. But Leslie clearly understands she is the employer, the mayor is the employee, and the mayor is not behaving properly, so needs to be excised out of office. So we're having this type of speak going on all over the place, but we're having wins. I mean, there's wins and wins, but the example of holding the power is these so-called controllers in power. It's an illusion, Nick. It's a total illusion. We think that they are in control. They're not in control. They are the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And worldwide, and you're a big part of this, we're pulling back the curtain.
But you know, sorry, do you want to finish that?
No, I can go on a rant on this forever. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I want to say, I mean, if we protest, they don't pay attention. They don't report it on the news. They lie. They say it's only 100 people. So that's my concern. But if we stopped paying taxes, then what? I mean, they've got no money. Then they have to listen. Right? We can't pay in the pockets of these corrupt people. So I think we need a movement where we stop paying income tax because we know it's illegal. Okay, there's no legislation that legalizes or authorizes, income tax. Okay, there has to be some kind of tax for the government to run on, so they can do their jobs necessary to build the roads, for an example, which we need because we drive on them. But obviously, I got an idea. We need to stop paying property tax. Stop paying property. It needs to stop. That's what I think. There needs to be a movement. There needs to be a protest. And someone, I don't understand about property tax because you've got a property, but there's no income. How can you be taxed on a property that doesn't have an income when you're living in it? On your home, at least, your residential home where you're living in it and you're not renting it out and you're paying property tax. That should be illegal. They should only tax you on money, at least where there's an income. And of course, when we accomplish that level, then we can move on to the next stage. But for now, I think a good start is let's get rid of property tax because it doesn't exist in the UK. It exists in the United States. And that shocks me.
Well, that's part of the American psyop, though. It does exist in the United States. A lot of things exist here that don't exist elsewhere. Let me give you one more. We have something called a death tax here. So if you don't have a special living trust that's set up just perfectly, you die and you get taxed after death. It's incredible. It's just disgusting.
It's very disgusting because if they're not serving humanity and they don't value us, then what is their value? And obviously they don't have none. So these people are evil. It's beyond, it's evil. They're corrupt. They're criminals. I don't know what to say. I mean, I really don't know what to say, but I think there needs to be a movement where the people say no more property tax. Enough is enough. And I think we need to do something about this. I think that because that's why they're sending all the money to Ukraine, to other countries.
Yeah.
That's why other countries don't charge property tax. And other countries are much lower in taxes because they don't have a means to get involved with other people's politics. But the American government, they want to, so that's where they find the money to do that.
Yeah, well, here's the way the Great American PSYOP works. So we're positioned as that beacon on the hill, that glowing house, and wow, everybody wants to come to America. Yeah, you go back and forth to the United States and the UK because you understand it is amazing here in the United States, but it's also a big PSYOP. And let me explain that. So, great example is we have this illusion of freedom. We don't have freedom. You just said we have property tax and the income tax that goes through the government. We're under the illusion that it goes to Ukraine. That's not where it goes. A small percentage goes there. It goes right back in the pocket of the politicians. How do we know that? Well, you look at them. They're worth $100,000 going in, and they're worth $10 million coming out. So
Yeah.
it's all a money laundering system. But what happens is in anything, if you want control, there has to be a carrot, right? So in the world, you know what the carrot is? America. The United States is the carrot. That's the carrot where everybody is, oh, we want to be like them. We want to be there. We want to be like them. Well, here's the illusion, though. The taxes. We're taxed heavier than virtually every nation. Some nations are a little bit more. Our food is poisoned. Incredible. You and I have talked. You just mentioned to me, let's tell your story about ketchup. It's so
I mean,
different.
this is the what I was saying before we hit the record button, so the viewers know. I've been in I half of my time now is spent in the United States, and when I go and buy things like ketchup or groceries and stuff like that, even whatever you want to buy, cakes or if you look at the ingredients, it's like that. If you take ketchup, it's like that. You go to the the UK, and you get ketchup, the same brand. The ingredients are shrinked to this much. So, and it goes with everything, even Doritos. Not that I eat that, or, I don't condemn eating bad food. But the principle of the matter here is why are the ingredients 3 times bigger in the US than it is in Europe? What are they feeding you? What is that poison? Why does that need to go into your body? And then it causes people to get fat, not because of the calories, because it stops you it stops your body from working properly. It's not even about the calories. It stops your body from breaking down fat. It's blocking your body. You're carrying dead body around you. That's what it is, and it's terrible. And this should be exposed. This is high treason.
It is.
This is what I should call the death penalty on. And this is child abuse because they're poisoning our children as well.
Yeah. And it may shock you. So in the United States, ketchup has this many ingredients, right? In the UK, it has this many ingredients. Well, I just got back from Mexico and it has this many ingredients. It's tomatoes, it's vinegar, it's salt, and maybe one other ingredient. That's it. So it's a huge, huge way to poison us. So why is it so bad in the United States? That should be the question, right? Well, the American PSYOP, what they do is they need to poison our food because what it does, as you say, it makes us fatter, it makes us unhealthier, which that automatically does what? It supports big pharma. It supports the medical establishment directly. They poison us through our food, and therefore people use doctors, and then they poison us through the medicine. But they also poison us through our food. I'm sorry, our air and our water. They also poison our brains through our schools here. But then guess what they give us? Oh, they give us the best bread and circus ever. We have the Super Bowl and we have all these amazing events, right? This is the game. So what happens here is the thing that nobody talks about, and I think is most important. All of the things we just mentioned, you know what they really poison? They poison your pineal gland and your pituitary system. So what happens is when you calcify those 2 places in the body, it reduces our ability to absorb the proper frequencies and to communicate in more of an ethereal manner. So
Yeah.
we don't have the discernment anymore because of the poisoning. So it's absolutely intentional. And I'm going to be featuring the American PSYOP inside of one of our next films called Breaking Babylon, and it'll be pretty interesting.
What I want to add to that is Bill Gates. If you ask Bill Gates, what's your favorite food? And he's been asked this, he would say a hamburger. Now, people look at Bill Gates as the founder of Microsoft, very clever man, multi-billionaire, very successful. And when he says hamburger, do you know how many people will listen to that and think, wow, I'm going to eat a hamburger? He's advertising hamburgers, fast foods, because he's got special interest in Big Pharma. So the more people eat bad food and they get into that bad habit, increases the COVID rates for bad health diseases, which turns into money. Okay. And when he's there promoting COVID vaccinations to get your COVID jab, there was an advert of him eating a burger. There was a burger on the table, and there was fries, French fries, and he's eating his French fries whilst he's telling us to get the jab. I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah. Well, they were giving donuts away free in some places to try to coerce people into getting the jab. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So we're working on it. So the whole idea is we, the people, have to stand up and force. Now, you were saying it's hard when we protest, it doesn't make much of a difference because of the way the mainstream media demonizes this. But let me put it in context. So right now, in a given day, CNN gets 600,000 viewers the whole day. The whole day, right? Tucker Carlson in 24 hours with his interview with Putin got 17 million viewers.
17 million?
Yes.
I think he got more than that. Let me double check.
Yeah, was it 170 million? I don't
think
know.
it was more 170, but it's a lot of viewers. I mean,
But
I'll tell you right now, he's got 200 million as
right
of
now.
today, as of
perfect.
13th of February.
I love this. So absolutely perfect. The total mainstream media, Fox News and all of them, have trouble getting 2 million in a day. So they're obsolete. They're pretending like they're not obsolete. They do the Super Bowl and all this stuff. You know, they were paying like $7 million commercial on the Super Bowl. There's not that much value there, but these are all payoffs. People don't understand that. So we, the people, are winning. We are really doing a great job. But you're going to have the mainstream media and the politicians try to downplay the protesting, but it doesn't matter anymore, Nick, because if Tucker can get 200 million and they get 2 million, it's really inconsequential anymore. So we just need to keep pushing forward. And we have noticed when we go in force with the identical message, the same message into, say, a board of supervisors meeting, or more importantly, I think the school board meetings, we're seeing win after win after win where they're caving in because they're all cowards and they can't take the pressure. So where they get more pressure is where they go. So if they get more pressure from Antifa or their controllers, that's the way they go. If they get more pressure from we the people, they cave in and they go, and we replace them. So we need to hang in there and just keep working hard because we're on the road to success here, but it's a slow road.
This is just 200 million views that he's got on X, on the X app, formerly known as Twitter.
Wow.
Then you've got more on YouTube, which is of course much less because it's a deep state matrix media, social media thing. And then on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, guess how many views Tucker Carlson and Putin interview get? It gets 126,000 views only.
It's not suppressed
at all. They've been
all.
Censoring it. No, I mean,
of course.
No, they've been censoring. But it's okay that they haven't been supporting, pedophile sites. This is Mark Zuckerberg. Yep. This is what we're dealing with. This is why Elon Musk has done great. Thank you to Elon Musk, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have got 200 million views on the Putin interview with Carlson on X. And I think Elon Musk has done something great there, whether you like him or not. I think he's giving us free speech.
Well, we have to look at the fruits for sure. And one thing we haven't even counted in this is how many views did Tucker Carlson on his own website get? because that's where I watched it. That's where everybody I know that watched it. They watched it on his physical website. So he just crushed it. Now, you don't have to be a fan of Tucker. That's not what this is about. I'm not holding Tucker Carlson or Elon Musk up as any superheroes, but we have to look at the fruits, right? Right now, Tucker's the only one that brought a very important interview to the forefront, right? With Putin. And Putin exposed some things that are going on with inside the deep state. Elon Musk is the only one that's opened up his platform other than Truth Social, right? And it's starting to wake up the normies. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. So again, let's look at their fruits. I get all their past, but frankly, I don't know if you agree with this. I think that could be Elon 2.0 anyways, because he doesn't look the same, but that's a whole tinfoil hat moment. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about glutathione after speaking about this, the poison that's going in our body and how, the benefits of glutathione and the way it goes into your body that you can't find anywhere else. Big Pharma's trying to block it. And we can't make claims because we get attacked by the company and the FDA. So let's talk about that and your experience with that to share with the viewers.
Yeah, I think this is actually a perfect segue because what the beauty about glutathione is the master antioxidant. Why is that important? Because that master antioxidant, it sends signals to your mitochondria and your immune system to get to work. See, God created a perfect form to heal itself. The problem, and you mentioned it well, is between the foods and all the other poisonings that we're dealing with, they're inhibited. It's not finding a way to fix itself, and there's too many things to fix, right? So what happens is your glutathione is the master antioxidant, works with your mitochondria and your immune system. Now it gets to work. And it says, okay, let's take care of this and this and this. I mean, I didn't even know that my white hair was a condition until my hair turned dark again because I was taking glutathione. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. But look at that. So that means there was a condition there, right? So it finds the conditions in your body, what's most important, and it works on them. How do they do this? They're the only company that has hydrostat technology, which has brought the molecule down to such a small size that when you swish it in your mouth, Numi, the NutraSwish product, goes in to your system directly. We know people that spend $1,200 a month on intravenous glutathione, and now they spend $60 a month instead and get better results from Numi. It's phenomenal. And you're right. We can't talk about all the huge stories that we have because the FDA wants any excuse to come after a company like this because it's doing a lot of good.
Absolutely. And and can you tell people about where they can buy it? Because it's called Numi, right?
Yep, it's Numi. So just go, well, actually, Nick, why don't you put a link below? You put your link below in your video. Numi is a phenomenal product. I would also look at, while you're there, guys, there's a spray that's amazing for your face, and for the ladies, there's a product for the ladies too. It's all very, very, very affordable. In fact, many people here, I have one on my desk right here. Many people, which I find pretty interesting, that have taken this have gotten rid of hundreds of dollars in monthly supplements. So it more than pays for itself.
So I'm young and yeah, much younger, and I take my health seriously, but probably I take a little bit of advantage of my health too because I'm young, and I received a few Numi sprays and creams, and I haven't used it myself, and so I started bulking some up. So I gave some to my friend, and my friend had a skin problem. And it begins with E. And I'm not going to say what it is because I said this last time and I got attacked by the FDA for making this claim. But this is not really a claim. This is more of it was her testimonial. And for some reason, they ask us to share the testimonials on their website. But this is now a claim. But this is the truth. So she called me up and says, I've been using the cream. And now the skin condition that I've had for a very long time has disappeared. Now, this is not a claim. This is her experience. This is her testimonial as a customer using this, who is my friend and has been saying this. And I'm saying it like this very clear, just in case the company hears what I'm saying. Right. This is not a testimonial. And I'm not going to say what the condition, the name of the condition, but it begins with EX. You know what it is now. And completely gone, So this stuff is really good, really, really good. And I've been using it too. I've been taking it more seriously. And we need more of this stuff going, more of this stuff. And this is why the doctors don't even know this. They give you antibiotics. They give you other things, pills that make you more ill, that create side effects, then they treat the side effects, give you more pills, and you're really, really ill. You're taking 10, 12 different tablets every day by the time you're 50, 60 years old. I know that because of my dad. Okay. Yeah. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's about time. We have to do something right now about it, because our health is our number one investment. What are your thoughts, Lewis?
Yeah. Well, first, our health is 98% based on our nutrition, what we put in our body, 98%. But yet the doctors get less than 2% of their training is on nutrition. It doesn't even make sense, where most of their training should be on nutrition and how to keep the body healthy. But they're managing the symptoms. Why is that? Because that's where the pharmaceutical companies make all the money. And if you could re-poison us and you need another drug, it's self-perpetuating. What a great business, Nick. Imagine if I told you that I have a business, right? Where people buy a product, and because they buy the product, they have to buy another product. And because they buy that product, they have to buy another and another and another and another. Would that be the best business ever? Well, that's big pharma. That's exactly what they're doing.
And they think, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and you find something that cures it, like the person that created the cure for cancer, they will kill you. Same thing with the oil. You create a vehicle that runs on water, they kill you because you put them out of business. And this is what we want to do. We want to put them out of business.
That's right.
It's exactly why I say we need to stop paying property tax. We need to put them out of business. And this is the way we're going to regain our power. This is we need to get into practice of this. This is the exercise of how the new earth should be, to take full responsibility and don't let a higher patriarchy control us and hide and suppress cures from us.
Yeah, well said, Nick. Well said.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to leave the link below anyway. The link will be right below so you can get it now. But Lewis, thank you so much for sharing all your views today about the illusion of power and the American psyop. I'm learning so much being here in the United States, but I absolutely love the people. I love the country. And I think when Trump takes back this country and he puts it back into shape, and the Constitution is respected by everybody and abide by everybody, including the people in government, once it's strength, I think this place is going to be fantastic. But thank you very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Well, I'm involved in a lot. I'm involved in Remember Your Freedom in Action. I have an amazing Patriot app that's coming out that's all free. You got documentaries, blah, blah, blah. If you want to find me, just go to screwbiggov.com. Screwbiggov.com. You can find everything that we do. And Nick, always, I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate you very much. You take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.